Hey, what's up, fam? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Alex B. Jones, and today I am going to be talking to you about how your car is keeping you broke. Hey, as you come on to this live stream, go ahead, put your name in the comment box, where you watching me from, and while you're at it, go ahead and click this things out and share it out. Hey, Sharika, how you doing? Uh, Shatika, how you doing? Stephanie, how you doing? Go ahead and share this stream out to some friends, because tonight I really want to talk about this thing. And this isn't to talk about anybody in particular. This is more or less to share some good information with you that I know is going to create financial freedom for somebody who's watching tonight. It's going to help put you in a different position. It's going to help put you maybe even in a different zip code. I mean, this is going to give you a different perspective, hopefully, on what your car and everything that comes along with it, what is actually costing you. See, I read a very good book here recently that talked about, it said, if you want to build a tower, you got to first count the cost, right? You got to put pen to paper, sit down and count the cost, lest you get halfway through it and you're not able to complete it, and then people ridicule you. That's what a very good book told me. So guys, what I find is oftentimes when we're making decisions, particularly financial ones, we don't take the time to do the math. We don't take the time to do the calculation. We don't take the time. We act from emotion. We react from ego. We react and act from a place of wanting, needing approval for other people to say, hey, look, oh, I see you. I see you rolling that whip, right? So the question is tonight, let's talk about what that whip is actually costing you and how it literally may be keeping you from the financial security and the freedom you say that you so desperately want. So we want to talk about that tonight. So as you come onto this live stream, like it and share it so other people can get it out there, can get it. Hey, Phyllis, how you doing? Bree, thank you for joining me. My wife is on. Thank you, baby. And Miss Brown. I can hardly see. My eyes ain't as good as they used to be, right? So, you know, let me just first say, this isn't to throw rocks or stones at anybody, because let me tell you, I made some of the same decisions. I made some of the same mistakes. And I look back on those right now, and I ask myself, how much further along would I be on my financial journey had I not made some of the decisions that I made, right? And the great thing about wisdom, the great thing about that is you don't have to make all the mistakes yourself. You don't have to go through and, learn from hard knocks. You don't have to go down to the dead end. You don't have to fall into the hole. You don't have to experience that. Trust me, if somebody tells you, hey man, listen, don't go down that street, don't go down that road, man, I'm telling you, once you get down there, something bad is gonna happen. Don't do it. Right? And if they've been down that road and they've done the same thing that you're about to do, wisdom says, hey, maybe I should consider very carefully what they're telling me, because they're telling me that from a position of experience. They're telling me from a position of knowledge, something that actually occurred and happened. And I know a lot of times when we're on the opposite side of the coin, well, we'll look at it and say, well, that's just a mistake that you made. It's not the one that, it's not going to happen to me. And then sometimes we look up and guess what? We find that we're in the same position. So in any case, tonight, what I want to do is I want to put some paper, some pen to the old whiteboard tonight, guys, and I want to go over some numbers and share some things with you that might open your eyes about how your car, just by keeping you from the financial security, independence, and freedom that you so desperately want. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it, guys. So I got a little scenario that I've done the numbers for. So let me just kind of get right into it and share it with you. All right, so hopefully you can still see me, guys. Let me know you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're able to see the whiteboard okay. Let me know that you're able to make out everything. Give me a thumbs up, hit a 1. Let me know that you guys are able to see this and hear me clearly, okay? If you would do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, so here's the scenario. This is a very, very, I'm going to be working with average numbers. I'm not going to do anything crazy. So based on research, here's what I discovered. I discovered, first of all, that in 2019, the average car loan is $30,000. That's the average price of a car these days. Okay, so $30,000 is about the average. All right. So here's the assumption that I'm going to make. I'm going to assume that you have a credit score of 650. A 650 credit score. Okay, which then means you're going to have an average interest rate of 7% on this new car loan. Okay, all right, and you're going to finance this car for 60 months. Okay, all right, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you guys are with me. Let me know if this makes sense. Okay, let's go over it again. We're looking at the average car loan, the average price of a new car today, looking at $30,000 with a credit score of 750. That'll get us roughly about a 7% interest rate for 60 months. Okay, guys? Now, what does that translate into? That translates into a $594 a month payment for 60 months. Okay? All right? Okay? So that's what we're looking at. Okay? So as you can see, we're not talking about astronomical numbers. We're talking about the average of what's going on right now in America when it comes to purchasing a car. Okay? So the first thing I would ask, well, I'll save that question. Okay? So here's where we are. $30,000 is what we're financing or what we're purchasing. Interest rate of 7% for 60 months gives you a $594 a month car payment. Okay? All right? Now, many of us will look at that and say, "Oh man, let me back up very quickly. I used to work at a car dealership. Okay? This is what we did, what they do all across the country every single month is try to figure out how to sell you a car for as much money as they possibly can. How to give you as little for your trade-in as they possibly can. How they can raise the interest rate as high as they possibly can, and how they can extend the terms out as far as they can." Now, all of those things that they do every single day, guys, they are looking to try to get and squeeze as much money out of you as they possibly can. And here's the thing that people look at all the time is they will ask themselves, can I afford the monthly payment? The monthly payment. That's the question that people always ask. And trust me, there's a whole lot more to consider than if you are just able to make the monthly payment. And here's where so many people get lost. They make the assumption, well, you know what? I can afford it. I can afford the monthly payment. So guess what? I can go ahead and buy the car. I should buy it, right? That's what most people think. But oftentimes, we don't look at what's called the true cost of ownership. See, most people are just thinking about whether or not I can afford the monthly payment. All right? So let's go through the numbers and really look at what the true cost of owning a car really is and how it's really going to impact you financially and how it keeps you broke. So let's really look at it. In this case, the purchase price was $30,000, right? Remember, $30,000. That's what it was, right? So, like I said, most people look at it and say, if I can afford the monthly payment, then fine, I should go ahead and buy it. But people don't think about the true cost of ownership, because it's not just about the price of the car. Here's what people forget. People forget that you're going to pay for this over 60 months, but guess what? Because you had to borrow money at 7%, now you got to pay a little thing called interest. The bank's going to want their money. They got to have that money, right? That's the whole reason why they're in business. They got to get paid. And because you don't have the $30,000 to buy the car cash, guess what? They got to charge you some interest. And in this case, if you have a 650 credit score, that's roughly going to get you about a 7% interest rate, right? So what is that going to cost you? Over the life of this loan for 60 months, 5 years, that interest is going to total up to $5,640. That's how much interest you're going to pay over 60 months at 7% on $30,000. All right? So, like I said, most people just ask, can I afford the monthly payment? If I can afford the monthly payment, let me just go ahead, let me get this whip, right? Not thinking that, guess what? It's going to cost you $30,000, which is your payment, which is your principal, plus $5,640 of interest. But guess what? You're not finished. You're not looking at the true cost of ownership. Guess what? You got a little thing called taxes. Uncle Sam got to have their money. You see, you starting to see a trend here. Everybody got their hand out, right? You got to pay a little thing called taxes. The states got to have their money for property tax. And guess what now? Because your vehicle is now at $30,000, your taxes are going to go up. Your property taxes are now going to go up. For the sake of argument, I'm not even going to factor that in. I don't know exactly how much property tax you have to pay in your city or your state. But just know, if you're buying a vehicle at $30,000, it's a new vehicle, guess what? Your property tax is about to go up, okay? All right. Is this making sense, guys? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Miss Jameson. How you doing? All right. So we got $30,000, which is the purchase price of the vehicle. We got $5,640 that you're going to pay in interest because the banks got to have their money. Right here, you're going to pay more in taxes. But wait, we're not finished. Before you drive off the lot, baby, you got to make sure you have some insurance. Little thing called insurance, right? So just in case something happens to the vehicle, just in case you hit somebody, have a wreck, they hit you, doesn't matter. You got to have full coverage on the vehicle. If it was a paid off vehicle, guess what? All you need to have is, all you need to have is liability. That's it. But because you now have a new vehicle that has a note on it, you got to have full coverage. So depending on the car, depending on your driving history, depending on that is going to, in all likelihood, your insurance rates are about to go up because you got a new car, right? So a lot of times in this example, what we have just done is we have paid, in this case, $35,640 over the life of this car. But guess what, guys? We're not done. We're not done. Go ahead, like this and share it now. Share it now. Guess what? We ain't done. A lot of people don't recognize there's another little thing down here called depreciation. What the hell are you talking about, Alex? Depreciation? What are you talking about? What is that? See, you paid $30,000 right off the bat. But guess what? When you drove the car off the lot, what did it do? It lost its value right as soon as you drive it off the lot. If you drive it off the lot and you turn around and you say, hey, you know what, guys? I don't want this car after all. Here you go. Boom, I'm gonna sell it back to you. They say, well, I'm sorry. We'll buy it back from you, but we're not gonna buy it back at $30,000. We're gonna buy it back at average 25% less than what you paid for it. And then guess what, guys? For every year thereafter, your car is going to lose another 15% every year. Every year. In the first year, it lost an average of 25%. But in the second year, it's going to lose 15%. In the third year, it's going to lose another 15%. In the fourth year, it's going to lose another 15%, right? So once you all said and done, guess what's going to happen? Guess what? My battery is about to go dead. Guys, hold on for just a second. Hey, look at these numbers. I'm going to go and get my trusted battery pack. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I am back here. I hope you had a chance to look at those numbers while I was gone getting my plug for my computer. Computer lab. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Y'all was about to lose me in the middle of the stream. So, hey, did you have a chance to look over numbers while I was gone? So, like I said, you bought the car at $30,000, but as soon as you drive it off the lot, in that first year, it's going to be worth 25% less on average. The second year, it's going to lose another 15%. The year after that, it's going to lose another 15%. The year after that, it's going to lose another 15%. So in this example, guys, after 5 years of owning the car, we're just talking 5 years, okay? This car that you bought for $30,000 is now going to lose. Y'all ready? Oh, it's a big number. It's a big number. Y'all, you're gonna lose $18,000 $255 of value after 5 years of owning the car. So guess what? All total, this car didn't just cost you $30,000. It didn't just cost you $5,640 of interest. It also cost you depreciation. So now the total cost of this car so far is now $53,895. That's the cost of the car. We didn't include maintenance on the car, right? I didn't include that. That's another cost. So I just wanted to give you some basic numbers so you can begin to see, guys, how this $30,000 purchase has now gone from $30,000. It was $35,640. Taxes went up, insurance went up, and then you have this little thing called depreciation of $18,000. Now you all total, you're in for almost $54,000 when on total cost of ownership. But guess what, guys? We're not finished. We're not finished here. We're not finished here. Let's assume that you didn't buy that new car, right? That you didn't buy this new car. There's this other little thing called opportunity cost. I hope you can see that. That says opportunity cost, guys. What does that mean? Opportunity cost is opportunity cost is what it costs you to not take advantage of another opportunity that you could have taken advantage of. What do I mean by that? This $35,640, that is real cash that you spent on the purchase of the vehicle plus interest, okay? You would have had to pay more in taxes, more in insurance, but for easy math, I said $35,640. But what if you had invested that money? What if you had invested that money? If you had invested that money for those 5 years that you had this car financed and you owned it, if you had invested this $35,640 instead of making that car payment, if you had invested that money instead and put it in an investment where you got 6%, at the end of 5 years, your investment would now be worth $41,443. So when you look at it right here, if you had invested $35,640 in an investment at 6% instead of buying the car, you would have $41,443 cash sitting in the bank somewhere if you had not bought the vehicle. So that right there is what you call opportunity cost. This is what you could have had for your $35,000 if you had not bought the car with it. So if we bring that number over, this is how much your return you would have gotten in total. This is how much your investment would have been. The difference between those two numbers is $5,843. So when you add all of this up, guys, purchasing this vehicle would cost you total $59,698 is what altogether it would cost you to purchase this vehicle, to purchase and own this vehicle for a 5-year period. That's the true cost of ownership. So getting back to my original title, how your car is keeping you broke. My question to you, or when you're thinking about this and considering this, do you have $59,698 sitting in the bank, sitting in retirement, sitting in 401k, sitting in an IRA, sitting in a SEP plan? Do you have that much sitting somewhere making money for you? Do you have $59,698? That is the question. See, a lot of times people say, oh, I deserve a car. I deserve something nice. I deserve a nice whip. So my question to you is driving a nice whip worth you spending, is it worth taking $59,698 out of your pocket? Money that could be used to fund your business. Money that could be used to be put down on some real estate that's going to pay you some rental income. This is money that could be sitting in a low-cost index fund that could be generating cash for you every day. This is money that could be invested in stock that could be paying you a dividend every single quarter. You see what we're talking about, guys? So the question becomes, it looked like it was just $30,000. That's all. You know, it's just a car. You know, it ain't too much. It's a nice whip. It's $30,000. But that $30,000 over 5 years turns into $59,000, right? $60,000. And the question becomes, do you have at least $60,000 sitting in an investment account? Do you have at least that much sitting in a 401k? Do you have that much money somewhere that's helping you get financially free? And if it doesn't, maybe we should reconsider making these kind of purchases, provided you want to be financially free, provided you want to be debt free, provided you want to be able to get to a place where you want to provide more for your family and leave a legacy, provided you don't want to live worrying from paycheck to paycheck, just paying bills, provided you want to be able to have some different options and some different experiences in life for yourself and for your family, provided you truly do want to be financially free. And if you do, maybe that car is keeping you broke. I can hear some of you saying, well, Alex, you know, I need to have a car. I got to have a car. You know what? You might actually need to have a car. The question is, you may not need to buy a $30,000 car. If you just need to have a car for transportation, guess what? You can spend less than that and invest the difference, right? At least then you won't have this car note hanging over your head. At least then you won't have to get up every morning going in and punching this clock. You won't have to go into a place that you hate going into. You having to put up with people's mess, having to listen to your boss run their mouth, having to do stuff that you don't otherwise want to do. Why do you do it? Why do you put up with it? I got bills. It's a choice, guys. It's a choice. You don't have to spend that much money. Think about what it's actually costing you. This is $60,000 towards the freedom, financial freedom and independence. that you really want to have. People always, I hear them always say all the time, you know, I got to go to the bank and I got to borrow money. You know, I got to go do this. I got to borrow this. I don't have. I want to open up a business, but I don't have the money. There's your money, right? Sitting right there. I want to make some investments, but I don't have enough money to set aside. I can't save, right? Because all your money is going to the bank. All your money is going to the car dealership. All your money is going to insurance and taxes and all that other stuff. Guys, again, these are decisions I have made the same types of decisions. And I look back on it, and I think that was absolutely the worst decision that I could have made. I didn't have anybody in my ear who was telling me, Alex, have you really thought about the true cost of ownership? Alex, have you really sat down and done the math to figure out exactly what it's going to cost you to buy this vehicle? No one sat down with me to help me run through the numbers to figure out what it's going to cost me. And as a result, this put me in a hardship. I found myself going into work every single day. I found myself having to crunch the numbers. I found myself having to work with customers and clients that I didn't necessarily want to work with, but I had to make some money because I had to pay that car note. You know, I found myself having to work from sun up to sundown because now I got this mortgage that I got to pay for, but now I got the whip to go with the house, but then my insurance went up. Then the maintenance that go along with this new car, it went up, right? Nobody is having these conversations with us. And if we happen to be African American, we spend more money on cars. As a demographic, as a group, we tend to spend more when it comes to buying cars. And so I ask you a question, you know, when you're thinking about making your purchase, ask yourself, is pulling up to the light and having people look at you, is it worth $60,000? People complimenting you, riding in style, riding in comfort. Is that going? I can remember not even really being comfortable riding in my car because I had this big car note. I wasn't comfortable because I had this big car note that I had to pay. Or I was so freaking tired after having worked all day to try to make money to make sure that I'm able to pay the car note. Hell, I couldn't even remember driving home from work sometimes because I was just that tired, right? So I hope this gives you something to think about, and probably another question someone may have. Well, Alex, when do you get a chance to reward yourself? When do you get a chance to have what you want? When do you get a chance to make that type of decision? Well, I can't tell you. It's your money. But I would say, I've heard somebody say, and he's worth now $1 billion, Jay-Z. But he said, if you can't afford to buy it twice, you can't afford to buy it once. So in this case, unless you got $120,000 sitting in the bank cash, you can't afford to buy a $30,000 car. So I'm just sharing with you, Warren Buffett, the third richest person or fifth richest person on the planet, still drives an old Buick or Lincoln or whatever it is that he drives, right? Because he understands, no, he can buy whatever the heck he wants. But he understands that's not the best use of money. That's not the best use of financial resources. That's not the best use of credit. A great use of credit is to take this money that you would borrow, this $30,000, see if you can take that money and buy something, buy an asset that's going to give you a return on that money. Then stack that money up, stack that return up over 5 years, and let that stack up and grow. And then once you get to a place where you got $120,000 in the bank, where you have assets of $120,000, we're not talking about your house, then guess what? Go ahead and buy that whip. You've earned it. You set it aside. You know, if you listen to a Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman, they'll tell you, don't you ever buy a car, ever. They'll tell you for the rest of your life, you drive beaters. I'm just simply saying, I'm not going that far. I'm simply saying that once you get to a place where you have 2 or 3 times what it's going to truly cost you for the vehicle, once you get to that point, hey, you've earned it. So let me know, guys, you have any questions for me? Anything here, anything that makes sense, don't make sense? Let's see. All right. Bria, actually, I don't have a book, Bria, but I do have a credit repair kit that's going to be coming out here very shortly. That's going to help you increase your credit scores so it won't cost you as much. And I'll have more information for you down the road once that becomes available. So Lisa says, hey, come on and preach and teach. Thank you, Lisa. I hope this is helpful to somebody. Go ahead and put your comment below. Let me know if you have any questions about how this works, guys. Yes, Lisa says we have choices. Financial freedom, absolutely, Lisa. Those are goals. Those are goals. I don't know what it is that we get when we go out and buy a new car. I think it's the approval, it's the accolades, it's the compliments. Hey guys, I compliment myself and keep my $60,000 in my pocket. I don't need your compliments, right? Let's see. Lisa says, yep, you can't even enjoy your life working to keep up with the payments. Not a good idea. I agree, Lisa. Thank you for being so interactive with me, Lisa. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Everyone else looking at the live stream, do you have any other questions for me about how your car is keeping you broke? See, again, this is $60,000 that you could be reinvesting into your business. This is $60,000 that you could be putting into developing some type of online product or service that you can sell while you're sleeping and continue to make money for you. This is $60,000 that you could be buying some rental property, buying some stocks that's going to pay you a dividend. Guys, the sky is the limit. We just have to start shifting our thinking so we begin to know and understand a car is a depreciating asset that's going to give us nothing financially in return. It is not going to put any money in our pockets. It's only going to take money out of our pockets every single month. Monthly payments, money at your pocket. Interest, money at your pocket. Taxes, insurance, maintenance, depreciation, opportunity costs, nothing but money out of your pocket. So there you have it, guys. Let's see. Pam says, hey, Pam, how you doing? Good to hear from you. Let's see. Pam says she has about $10,000 left to pay on her car. She says she has an itch. She got the itch. She's getting to the itch, guys. She says, but she's too practical. I know Pam. Yes, Pam is definitely practical. So I want to encourage you, Pam. Be smart about what you're doing. Be smart about your money. I know you will be, Pam. Let's see. Lisa, you are so very welcome. I'm glad to hear that this is information that someone is finding helpful. My whole goal is to try to help set people free. Harriet Tubman said, hey, Yes, it's been said that I freed 1,000 slaves. She said, but I would have freed twice as many if they understood that they were in slavery. And that's what we have, guys. We have so many people who have been conditioned to think over time that buying a car is a status symbol. Buying a car is something that you deserve. Buying a car is something that you must have. And the whole time, who are we getting those messages from? We're getting them from, guess what? From commercials, from the car companies. We're getting them from the banks, right? We get them from other people who happen to be broke too, right? It's time that we begin to shift our thinking because, guys, listen, you are meant to be financially free. You're not meant to have to go into somebody's job every single day and to punch a clock because you got bills you have to pay. It was never supposed to be that way, guys. And when you're operating and working in that type of place, in that type of environment, guess what? You can't be, it won't allow you to be in a place where you're able to really exercise your passion, where you're really able to do some good in the world using the gifts that you've been given. Because now you have to spend all of your time going to work, clocking in. I owe. It's off to work I go. Guys, you were meant to be more than a worker, more than somebody who has to show up just to make money, just to pay bills. Be smarter about your car purchases. Put pen to paper, work the numbers, figure out what the true cost of ownership truly is, and then ask yourself, is it really worth it? All right. So there you have it, guys. Go ahead and share this video. If you know somebody, tag them in it. Because we want to be able to get this information out to people. Because again, it's because of a lack of knowledge that people perish. And so we want to make sure that people get all the information that they need to be able to have the financial freedom that they say they truly want. All right. So take care, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me this evening. We'll see you next time.